In 2017, Battlefront 2 was more like Battlefront poo, cause turns out EA thought of it less like a Star Wars Battlefront game that's good and new, and more like Battlefront you by loot boxes. Well, in a turn of events that could not be more Star Wars if it tried, proverbial and literal Darth Vader has thrown the proverbial and literal Emperor down the proverbial and literal Death Star exhaust chute and redeemed himself, justifying the faith that so many proverbial Lukes have had in this game for years now.
I know there is good in you. The Emperor hasn't driven it from you fully.
Brayden, what the f*** are you even saying? I hear you ask. Good question. Fair question. What I'm saying is, Battlefront 2 is good now. And more to the point, everyone agrees that Battlefront 2 is good now. And that's the most important thing, kids. You can like something, but only if it's popular to like something. It's very important to toe that party line. Let me dump my history on you real quick, okay? I, like everyone, grew up playing Call of Duty, Black Ops, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 2 mostly with my friends on the couch where tempers flared, accusations of screen peeking flowed like milk and honey, and all that good stuff. I also played the shit out of Black Ops and Black Ops 2 online. Point being, I'm not a total multiplayer noob. I do have some experience with it, but after high school, I went and lived in Italy for 2 years, then I went to university, and during that time, I had no consistent access to any gaming console or PC, so my gaming habits were well and truly broken for like 6 years. When I finally did get myself a PC, I began with single player games. And really it was kind of a gaming re-education. I started to branch out and play all sorts of different types, Metroidvanias, rhythm games, you name it. I wanted to try it all. So after a while, I came to the conclusion that I didn't need multiplayer games anymore. Single player was less stress, demanded less time, it was more flexible, and it precluded the need to wrangle a bunch of friends. That really was my only problem. Just logistics, timing sessions with my vast well of friends. I totally had enough friends to do multiplayer if I wanted. Shut up. So when a new Call of Duty drops, not interested. When a new Battlefield drops, not interested. New Halo, not interested. When a game is significantly different enough, it can tempt me. For example, Titanfall 2. I was really late to the party, but after beating that campaign, I liked it so much that I subsequently sunk probably 30 hours into playing that multiplayer on the North Star server. But there is another way a multiplayer game can tempt me to return to my old dark ways.
There is another.
It can tickle the nerdy little nostalgia goblin that still lives deep down inside me. DICE's Battlefront and Battlefront 2 are examples, absolutely, of that kind of game. And while the 13-year-old still trapped inside me longed to return to that franchise when those games were coming out, I didn't have a way to play in 2015 and 2017. And since Battlefront 2 practically died on arrival thanks to some interesting business decisions, when I finally did get my hands on a PC, the window was closed. But imagine my surprise when not so long ago in a galaxy not so far away, our galaxy, it was in our galaxy, Battlefront 2 reached its record high concurrent player count on Steam. And then imagine my surprise when the record was shattered again, like a week later. And then imagine my surprise that this all started happening right after I finished Jedi Survivor and remembered, oh, Star Wars can be really good. And also after I had finished watching Andor and remembered, oh, Star Wars can be really good. It was time. I was going back to multiplayer. The old dragon. The old time-sucky, rage-baity, profanity-infested dragon. I also decided that this time, I was going to do it right. I was finally going to learn mouse and keyboard so I wouldn't get my ass whipped like I did with Titanfall 2. And now that I stand before you, having sunk about 20 hours into this game's multiplayer, I wanted to share my unique and qualified opinion as a sort of multiplayer greenie, a fan of Star Wars, and an asshole with a YouTube channel. Let me temper your expectations by saying I suck at this game. A lot. I don't know where to go and when, aside from when the game literally tells me to fall back or attack a position. I am not at all comfortable with these controls. My aim is not true. I am not one with the Force, and the Force is not with me. All this said, I'm having a lot of fun with this game. Even being a semi-noob at multiplayer these days, I could tell immediately that Battlefront 2 is pretty accessible to newcomers. You won't get killed in one shot like in Rainbow Six Siege. There's no advanced movement skill gap between you and the sweaty tryhards like in Titanfall, and you can even go into third or first person depending on your preference and experience. Though, pick third person, because you'll have a way better peripheral view of the map. Yeah, I got blasted, blown up, and sliced like crazy, but I also also blasted, blew up, and sliced plenty of people myself. The maps are big, the battles are big, and the game is forgiving enough and player-rich enough, right now at least, to still be fun for beginners. You won't be topping the charts, but you'll get your moments, and you'll get enough of them to make you want to keep playing. What this game really rocks at, though, is theme. I felt like I was in the Battle of Geonosis. The space battles are so cool with all the lasers, the explosions, the force field barriers that you fly through, and all the sound effects. It's Star Wars, guys. It feels like Star Wars. And that's the most important thing a developer needs to get right when they make a Star Wars game. Also, it's been 8 years since the original release, and I know they've pushed patches and updates since then, but damn do these maps look good. They use the classic music, they nail the character design, the sounds of the blasters, the bombs, the starships and sabers. It's all great. So what's not great? Well, I wish that the vehicle accessibility had been designed differently. That's actually maybe my biggest complaint. In most modes, you need to accumulate battle points before you can take off in a TIE fighter or tear shit up in a tank, and there are a limited number of slots for each vehicle type that can be active at a time, which means if you aren't good, you may just never get the chance, because if you ain't first, you're last. And even when you have enough battle points, there's a good chance that someone else had to respawn before you, thus perpetuating the sad reality that you are still last. I think I would have preferred something closer to the model the old Battlefronts had, allowing players to pick up vehicles where they found them. The same complaint goes for heroes. Like, the only thing I was absolutely sure of before loading into a match is that I would probably get enough points to play as a hero or a villain, and by the time I did get enough points, it was going to be far too late for me to actually play them. So that's kind of a bummer. I wish I could fly around in Slave 1 more often. I wish I could play as real-life James Bond more often. Look that shit up, by the way, guys. Christopher Lee had a crazy life.
I seem to recall that I did say to Peter, have you any idea of what kind of noise happens when somebody's stabbed in the back? And I said, because I do.
But despite all that, when force push comes to force shove, Battlefront 2 distills much of what Star Wars is into a pretty fun multiplayer shooter experience. And if you're a fan, you should definitely play it while there's so much interest. On our difficulty scale, where we rank based on the severity of the curses we uttered while playing the game, I don't even know how to rate multiplayer games, so I guess I'm spitballing, but asshole, I guess. AKA medium hard for multiplayer game. I don't know. You're gonna get your ass kicked. There's gonna be people that are really good, but for a multiplayer game, it's not too rough to jump into. But again, what the f do I know at this point? For our backlog rating, if you're a Star Wars fan, fast track this one. Who knows if this burst in popularity will keep up, so strike while the iron's hot, I say. If you're not a Star Wars fan, honestly, why are you watching this video? That's weird, but welcome. And to you, I'd say, yeah, this is probably more like a mid-lane plus kind of game for you. I don't know, maybe that's harsh. We could call it get in the left lane. It's very competently made, but there's better shooters out there if you don't care about Star Wars. Its greatest strength is the Star Warsiness of it all, so if you're not a fan, don't worry about playing it. Well, what do you all think? Let us know in the comments. What would you like to see be different from a potential third new entry into this series? Whatever it may be, let's keep this game alive until we have that third one in our hands. And remember,
I'll try spinning. That's a good trick.